Thanks for joining us today. We'd like to speak with you about the COVID-19 financial assistance for Long Island Realtors. Please remember to stay up to date with LIBOR's COVID-19 hub located at www.lirealtor.com/COVID. The Paycheck Protection Program is a loan program that is part of the CARES Act. It's for small business administration loans through approved lenders to help small businesses. The loan application deadline was set to expire June 30th. The president just signed an extension of the deadline until August 8th. Reportedly, there's $130 billion in loan funds remaining. The details of the PPP loan program. Who's eligible? Businesses with less than 500 employees, nonprofits, 501c3s, sole proprietorships, self-employed individuals, and independent contractors. The PPP offers loans of up to $10 million for businesses to maintain payroll and related benefits, interest on mortgages and other debts, leases, and utility payments. Forgiveness is available on a portion of the loan proceeds if employers retain employees during specified period. You must apply through an SBA-approved lender. There have been recent updates to the PPP loan program. Many changes have been made to the PPP program since it was first introduced. The key changes are the PPP forgiveness window goes longer. Under the original CARES Act, that forgiveness spending window was 8 weeks from the date the loan was made. The Paycheck Protection Program Flexibility Act extends the closing date of the forgiveness spending window for all PPP loans, regardless of their funding date, to the earlier of the date that is 24 weeks after the date of funding and December 31st. The SBA reduced the amount of the loan required to be tied to payroll from 75% to 60% in order to achieve maximum forgiveness. Borrowers need not meet the 60-40 ratio of payroll to non-payroll expenses in order to receive any forgiveness. Rather, forgiveness will merely be reduced. The SBA has also created a streamlined, easy forgiveness application for borrowers who are self-employed and have no employees, or did not reduce the salaries or wages of their employees by more than 25%, and did not reduce the number or hours of their employees, or experienced reductions in business activity as a result of health directives related to COVID-19, and did not reduce the salaries or wages of their employees by more than 25%. The easy application is a 2-page document with fewer calculations and less documentation. The easy forgiveness application can be found at the link provided. The Economic Injury Disaster Loans, or better known as EIDL. EIDL loans are available for small businesses that have suffered economic harm due to COVID-19. Who's eligible? Small businesses or businesses with 500 or fewer employees, and this includes sole proprietors and independent contractors. EIDL provides applicants with immediate funding of up to $10,000, $1,000 per employee, including independent contractors, upon application once eligibility has been verified. The advance funding of up to $10,000 is forgiven, and applicants will get it even if they do not qualify for additional funds. What can it be used for? Paid sick leave to employees unable to work due to COVID-19, maintaining payroll, meeting increased costs due to supply chain disruptions, rent or mortgage payments, and repaying debt obligations. The EIDL program had temporarily closed in April to everyone other than agricultural small businesses. However, last month the program reopened. You can apply for these loans directly through the SBA at the link provided. You can apply for both PPP and EIDL, but you must put them toward different expenses. You should keep good records of expense payments. Unlike the PPP, which as of now will only receive applications through August 8th, the EIDL program will run through December 31st. There are additional resources regarding PPP and EIDL loans. NAR has put together an SBA CARES Act FAQ page with more information and answers to frequently asked realtor questions about the PPP and EIDL programs. NAR's FAQ page can be found at the link provided. You should also always consult with your tax and financial advisors to review the full detail and potential pros and cons of these loan programs and other available financial relief programs. Now, I would like to turn it over to Patrick.
Thanks, Doreen. I'm now going to talk about pandemic unemployment assistance, also known as PUA. Many recipients of PUA have questions about the interplay between the receipt of those benefits and the receipt of the PPP and EIDL loan funds that Doreen just spoke about. NAR has created a flyer that answers questions about the intersection of SBA loans and unemployment assistance, which can be found at the link provided. NYSAR also has a frequently asked questions page for COVID-19 pandemic unemployment assistance, which can be found at the link provided at the bottom of this page. If you collect an EIDL and/or PPP loan, does that affect your ability to receive PUA benefits or vice versa? And must you forego PUA once you receive the loan and/or return the PUA payments you received prior to receiving the loan? There is no federal guidance prohibiting individuals from applying for and receiving both PUA and PPP loans or EIDL. However, receiving a PPP or EIDL loan may impact your eligibility for PUA. To the extent someone uses a PPP or EIDL loan to cover their full or partial salary, they may be deemed ineligible for PUA benefits during that period. The bottom line, you cannot double dip by obtaining funds from both programs for the same periods of time. If you received a loan covering your pay during a time in which you received PUA, you likely will need to return the PUA funds. Now that we have progressed to phase 2 of the New York forward reopening and real estate is allowed to operate, am I now no longer eligible for PUA? While phase 2 means that self-employed individuals and independent contractors who are eligible for PUA will be able to engage in more real estate activities, it does not necessarily mean that they will be able to work like they were before the COVID-19 pandemic. If you continue to meet the eligibility criteria because you are unable to work 4 or more days per week and unable to earn more than $504 per week, you should continue to be eligible for PUA. However, if you work 4 or more days per week, even if it's only for a short period of time each day, and/or earn more than $504 per week, that information must be reported when you certify for weekly benefits, and it will impact your eligibility for PUA. If I do one real estate activity on 5 different days, does that disqualify me from PUA for that week? And what if I earn less than $504? Well, you're not eligible for unemployment or PUA in any week in which you worked 4 or more days and/or earned more than $504. Each day you perform any work counts as a day of employment when you complete your weekly certification for PUA benefits. Accordingly, NYSAR advises you may want to bundle your work so you conduct real estate activities for no more than 3 days per week. I'm now going to talk about the New York Forward Loan Fund. Governor Cuomo established the $100 million New York Forward Loan Fund for small businesses with 20 or fewer full-time employees, nonprofits, and small landlords that have seen a loss of rental income. These loans are only for entities that did not receive a PPP or EIDL loan. Unlike the PPP, these loans are not forgivable. The loans will need to be paid back over a 5-year term with 3% interest. Interest only for the first year, principal and interest over the balance of the term. The working capital loans are timed to support businesses and organizations as they proceed to reopen and have upfront expenses to comply with guidelines. For example, inventory, marketing, and refitting for new social distancing guidelines. The New York Forward Loan Fund has geographic proportionality goals, with Long Island getting 18% of the loan funds and New York City getting 30% of available funding. Pre-applications for the New York Forward Loan Fund are now open. Priority will be given to industries and regions that have reopened. This is not a first-come, first-served loan program. Rather, applications will be reviewed on a rolling basis. More information, including the application for the program, is available at the link provided. Finally, Nassau County has also set up a website that includes a webinar on how to submit a strong New York Forward Loan Fund application. It can be found at boostnassau.net. I'm now going to talk about the Federal Reserve Main Street Lending Program. This program involves lending by the Federal Reserve to small and medium-sized businesses that were in good financial standing before the COVID-19 pandemic. This is an alternative to the PPP and EIDL loan. It is not connected to the SBA, and participants in the SBA programs are still eligible to receive loans under the Federal Reserve Main Street Lending Program. The program officially opened registration for lenders in June. It is making $600 billion in loans available and recently revised down the minimum loan amount to $250,000 to allow more small and mid-sized businesses to access the program. The program had been delayed for months as the Federal Reserve sought feedback after it had been announced, but it launched last month. Among the changes announced when it launched are lowering the minimum loan size to $250,000 from $500,000, increasing the term of each loan option to 5 years from 4 years, extending the repayment period for all loans by delaying principal payments for 2 years rather than 1, and providing that no interest is owed for 1 year. The Main Street Lending Program originates at local banks, so you should speak to your local lender about the program and your options. So what's next? Analysts are predicting that another big coronavirus aid package may be coming from Congress by late July. So you should continue to monitor updates from NAR, NYSAR, and LIBOR. We also remind you that you should always consult with your own financial advisor to discuss what financial relief programs make the most sense for your particular situation. We also caution you to be aware of scams. New York State Department of Labor has warned that fraudsters may target individuals who they know are working and would not need to file for benefits. So you should check your mail regularly and open all letters from the New York State Department of Labor. If you receive a letter from the New York State Department of Labor about unemployment benefits that you have not filed for, you could be the victim of fraud. You should report this at the link provided on the screen. Finally, we encourage you all to visit LIBOR's COVID information hub at www.lirealtor.com paycheck.com/COVID. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.